Welcome along, everyone. What was it like, that experience, jumping into your first race?
It's been my life ever since I can remember.
Look, it really was unbelievable.
I think it's awesome.
Just go out there and give it your all every time. And
when you're young and you get in your old man super stock and you wreck it, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Craig Booker with the big smile. He is the voice that's behind what you get to hear every Sunday night.
Give it the hoot, Eddie. Look at that field. Doesn't it look fantastic?
Welcome along, everyone. Back for your Wednesday evening, your Speedway fix, as some would say, as the season comes to end for most tracks up and down the country. So welcome along to In the Cockpit with KINSER, as someone suggested in the comments during my birthday yesterday, maybe In the Cockpit with Koro. We'll see what happens. But my good friend there from Bump and Run, well, that's on live stream of racing. He joins me as well. That's online racing. Craig Booker. Hey, Books.
Hey, mate, how are you? Yeah, big birthday for you yesterday. What was that? 21, I think, wasn't it? 21 yesterday?
Yeah, 21 with another 33 GST. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Yeah. Mate, all I can say is I'm getting closer to the gold card in the pension. No, I'm a fair way off there, folks. I just want to say thank you, first and foremost, for doing a post putting up on the Kokpit page, but also thank you to everyone that commented. Gave the love to me yesterday, and it was a good family dinner last night. And yeah, to everyone out there in the social media world who rang me and from around the world and Speedway as well. So it was awesome. It was just another day, mate, another day on the candle.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. I thought I'd better let our viewers know that you would turn another day older, you know.
Yeah.
I think we go the other way now, don't we, Kins? Don't we go backwards now? Once you hit the 50 mark, you're allowed to turn and go back the other way for your birthday. So instead of being 51, you go back to 49, 48, 47.
Count backwards. Just another day. Just another day, you know, just a special day with the family and the kids and the grandson. And yeah, another big feed. You know how it goes, mate. Roasts, pavlova, seafood, everything like that.
All the bells and whistles, eh?
Yeah,
Hey.
but even better when you do a fry up the next day, mate. Have it today. I had another fry up today.
That's what it tastes the best, doesn't it, eh?
It was real good. Yeah. Anyway, last weekend you and I caught up on Friday, actually. You made the trip from down your hometown up to Hamilton to be part of the Huntley International Speedway Big Night, which was the Polar Crane Superstock Invitational Teams. But also on the Friday, we did the fundraiser. $12,300 is what we made on the night, you know. Well done to everyone that dug deep in their pockets. Young Van, you're the man. Van the man. He was up there, and to everyone who supported that cause, whether you were online bidding or even in the clubhouse. So it went to a good cause. Maybe a few people asking around the payment side of things. How do we make the payment online? We'll sort some of that. I've seen a few questions popping up on the Kokpit Messenger, but thank you to everyone out there.
Oh, mate, it was just awesome, man. The people in the club rooms are grouse too, you know, and you got to take your hat off to the Reeds as well. A viewer said, will they auction their wing off no matter what the condition of it after the weekend? And without a hesitation, Pete said, yep. And then more people put their wings up, and it just raised the value up, you know. The people that gave to us for prize packs and all that stuff, mate. You just cut, you know. We had Pollux, we had Red at Huntley, we had the Peter Rees, Jacob Baker, we had Pitts TV with their streams, we had Maybe Motorsport, Murray Goodley with his drawings, Palar Games, Blendy with the
vouchers.
With the vouchers. We had Mike Mack and his wife organised and sent through the Hawkeyes pack that was there. We had the Munchies guys from Stratford with hoodies and gear. We had the 2 season passes from Huntley as well, you know. We had the Repco gift packs. We had fishing packs from, I'm not 100% sure who that was, to be honest. But we had Vaisies with those welders and everything. All those people that turned around and donated for such a good cause. If we were to vote to bid on, we can't thank you enough. for the support. And I know everybody in the club rooms that night had an absolute ball, mate. And also big thanks to Jason at the Pits TV. When we got there, we were expecting the internet to be sorted. Unfortunately, we had a complication with the internet. Jason and the Pits TV team stood up and helped us out with the internet. And then while me and Kim's on the mic, Jason also helped in the background with production and everything. So we can't thank them enough for the help, because at the end of the day, it worked, and we had everybody having fun, and we raised good coin for two great causes. And I will be going live with Peter and Thomas from Pollux together in Palmy when we hand over the check to Go Slideways TV, our family. So that'll be quite cool too, Kins, you know. So, I'm just really stoked with that, mate. And then to top it off, how good was the racing? I mean, shivers. Mate, the next day, the racing was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
Mate, that was just a way to end the season. You couldn't have ended it in a better way with teams racing. But mind you, all the classes that raced on that night gave it their all. They knew it was their last meeting. And the best thing about it, the track never gave up. The volunteer workers there, everyone that runs the event, because around the whole Huntly International Speedway, there was wet weather. You had Kiki canned, you had Auckland canned, but Huntly just persevered. And I tell you what, the weather stayed, and it was bloody good. Good night racing.
They deserve that, Kins. They deserve that meeting, you know, for the hard yards they put in this year and the disappointment and some of the things they've had to deal with. They deserve that win on the weekend, and I'm so happy for them and all their staff and everybody that puts that mahi in to do it all. You know, like, it's just incredible. So huge help. I mean, I love that Huntly Club, man. They look after us, we look after them. It's just a great partnership at the moment with those guys, and we really enjoy doing it, what we do with them. So and watch the space next year, people, because we're pretty sure we're probably going to find that this auction might be an annual thing with that meeting. So watch the space, and next year more of you could come to the club rooms, join in the fun, meet your favourite drivers, and it's going to be bigger and better next year, and just as much fun, Kins.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Look forward to, I know Red's got that on the plans. Plenty of plans coming up for their track. Emron, good to catch you, Ans, my bro, and thank you for helping out. Steve Emmett, who was out there on the mobile camera, showing everything that you could see what you could bid for as well. He was behind the scenes there. Also, Fiona, who helped put the packs together, took all the notes and write down all the auction prizes. But to everyone they helped, Annette Hutchby, I know she'd given from the hairdresser's place. I think there's some hair straighteners as well. One, yes. Yeah. You know, and even Tracy Jones, who was behind the bar there and helping out. So everyone at the club, hats off to you all. And I tell you what, just appreciate the way you've looked after us too, and our mate Steve during the big racing and what we did last Friday and also on Saturday. But big hello to everyone that was here on the trackside that waved out to us. What we really enjoyed on the Saturday was going around with boxes of toys and little gifts, handing out on behalf of Huntly International Speedway. Reed had approached us. Can we go give out some of the toys to the kids? That was cool. Just giving out boys' toys, girls' toys, all sorts of stuff. The kids loved it. Wayne's on board watching. Jason Coley. Tans is there watching. Tans, I know you want to flash phone like books. Lacey's in there as well. Warren Buchanan. Tracy Vincent, Daniel Petrie hasn't taken off his PC cap at the moment. Dave Thomas, you don't look a day over 33, mate. 93. No, yeah, over 90. No, I'll get in there, mate. No, not quite. Thanks for the birthday shout out to everyone. Evening camper counselor, good breakfast food. Michael Beaumont, yeah, it is good breakfast food. Post the bank details. We'll get onto that for you a bit later. Dave, Muddy Goodley. Blown away by the $1,000 for the drawings. Pete's wing got smoked on the roll. Mate, he had a big roll, Pete Reeves. He's had a lot of rolls this bloody season. Haven't stopped wearing my polished crane hat. Thanks, lads. Brian England's watching. We're going to catch up very soon with his son, Jonas. Cody Mack, you and your Auckland All-Stars team, congratulations on winning the invitation. I tell you what, the crowd were wrapped. Been a long time coming for the Auckland outfit, and it was a bloody good team effort after what they've been through with a bit of a mishap and one of their drivers getting in a bit of strife, but they got through to the end and won quite good actually over the Gizzy Giants. Scott Phipps, catch up with you soon, Scotty. Talk about what's happening over there in Aussie. Yeah, all good. Wicked, bro. We better bring in Jonas, eh?
Just before we do that.
Oh, yes, our online racing.
we are starting our online Superstock series in 4 weeks' time. If you are out there and you are a sim racer and you drive a Superstock and you want to be a part of this, you need to contact us. Just be aware we haven't got time to remake your chassis and put it in the game. So if you are going to race with us, we will put your skin on a chassis of your choosing that's already in the game. Now, there are only a few spots available, so let us know and we'll see what we can do. We've got a few spots, mate. We haven't got lots of spots available for the series, but it is going to be there. So the E-Series, excuse me, I got in my throat, we'll be starting in 4 weeks' time. And so, yeah, if you are a Superstock driver with sim gear and you want to join in, I'll put a post up this week about it. Contact us here at Kokpit and we can work out what we can work out for you. That's
Awesome.
what I needed to say about that, KINSER.
Yeah, okay, Warren Buchanan, yes, some of the money, yes, half of it is go to the Partridge family down there in Palmerston. Booker, Pete Rees, Thomas Pollock will be heading down there. And the other half is New Zealand Cancer Society. Auntie Sue is watching, Joe. That's from Susan Larson. Good to have her on board. Booker and Kins, what program are you using for that? It's R Factor 2. 50, sign me up. Cody Mack, done.
Well, he's already
deal,
signed
mate.
up. He's part of Kokpit now. He just didn't get hold of Dirt on Sunday. So,
All right.
yeah. So let's
11th of June. 11th of June is our start date, eh?
let's bring Jonas in and get this ball rolling. Here he is. Hey, mate.
Afternoon, guys. Evening. How we doing?
Good, mate. Good, mate, eh? Yeah, look at that flash-looking car behind you.
Doesn't look so flash anymore.
We'll talk about that. We'll get into that, mate. Sign me up, boys. Darren, Rob. Yeah, look at that. He wants to jump in. Get Harley in there too, you reckon? Anyway, that's another story. We'll get on that later. Jonas, mate, how you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Been better, but yep, not too bad.
All right.
Not too bad.
Let's rewind the clock back, mate. Aside from eating the hot dogs, loving the smell of the fumes and in the dirt and running around the trackside, where did it all begin, mate? How did it all begin?
For me, watching on the sidelines, my dad racing back in the early 90s when I was a little boy, and yeah, I guess just going there every weekend, watching racing and watching him. Dad had his own stock car, so it was really fun. I enjoyed getting out in the garage when I could and getting in the way as much as I could, much to his dismay. But it was really fun, and it was a good way of learning how to work on cars, which led me to become a mechanic as well. So it was pretty.
All
cool.
right. We'll talk about the particular photo that's popped up here, the 9W, but you're a third generation driver from your family, aren't you?
Yes. Yep. My granddad, Neil England, he started racing in Wellington back in the late 60s. And then, I wouldn't have a clue when Dad started racing. He was in the late 70s, I think.
Yeah.
He was part of the Jesters team and whatnot.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a few years in the stock cars, and Dad's had a bit of a play in the saloon car class as well, and ended up he's running back in a historic stock car again now. So it's good to see him out there.
We saw that little photo of you just prior to this one. That's the mini stock, and we'll talk a bit about that. You can see the three generations there, yourself, Dad, Granddad. 9W, Dad's car back in the day, and you got some good memories from that when he was racing around the track?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Certainly the photos help re-jog some memories, but it's quite cool now that he's built a replica of that same one for racing in the historics. So now we get to put my kids in that car and basically get the same sort of photos. It's pretty neat to see the comparisons. Yeah, for sure.
Mate, you don't look there, bloody hell. What does it make you feel old when you look at some of that?
It does. Yep. To think that started racing mini stocks almost 16, just over 16 years ago. It's pretty scary.
Damn good class, when you take a look at their mini stocks class, we talk about it a lot with a lot of the drivers that we interview on the show. The kind of savior class in some sense, and it's the way the speedway grows, gives it opportunity for boys and girls at a young age. Some get to drive before they even drive a real vehicle or get a car license. But it's just a great class. Most cases, it's affordable for some out there, but what a class, and like I say, you started in the class, just a great class.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it gives kids confidence as well once they get onto the road. They know how to handle a car in multiple different situations, and or learn how to drive a manual for a start, which the majority of people and kids don't know how to do anymore. So yeah, it's a really neat class, and it's good to see that it's just growing and thriving throughout the country.
We talked about generations. Will darling Capri be the fourth generation?
She has her moments. Some days she wants a motorbike, which me and my wife aren't too keen about. But yeah, she's coming around. The last weekend we were at Team Roar, and she started filming the mini stocks because she was just getting tips on what they were doing. So she was getting prepared for when she gets hers now, which is good.
She was pretty adamant when she told me that she was going to have a mini stock, mate. She was pretty adamant that's what she was getting.
Yeah, she's changed her tune a bit now, so that's good. We talked about a go-kart, but yeah, she was dead set on a motorbike, which that's not happening. I'm not keen on that.
Yeah. Hey, during your mini stock time racing around, you travel around a lot. Did you ever make the trip up to the MVP and Rotas?
Yep. I think we did that a couple of times. Qualified up there, I think twice. Dad's still got the sashes on the wall. I think it was twice we qualified up there, and I think got third in the best pairs at Mini Stocks in Paradise. But yeah, we did a bit of traveling. Went to, there was a meeting they did in Huntley. I think it's the one they still do now, like the
yes, yeah.
I think it's called the Future of now, but I can't remember what it used to be called. But yeah, we did the Oxford Mini Stock champs, and yeah, a fair bit in Wanganui and Palmerston, and a bit in Hawke's Bay when we had, auntie and uncle in Hawke's Bay as well. So we got around a fair bit.
Hey, mate. Oh, good. Hey, then obviously the photos that we showed there, Booker just put up there, young fella in the stock car back in the days and everything like that. So what was the advancement for you from out of mini stocks when you were at the age? Was it into the car that we're looking behind you, into modifieds, or was it something else before that?
After we had the mini stock, we sold the mini stock and didn't really have a clear plan of what we were doing. Dad actually traded the mini stock and the truck we had for a boat, so there was not really anything in the pipeline. But one of Dad's friends, Keith Haley from All Holden Parts, he had started building a new super stock frame, and it was basically a coffin with a sort of a front bumper on it, and he ended up giving us that and giving us a motor for it and a few other bits and pieces, and me and Dad sort of worked away and built it up, and went stock car racing. So yeah, it was pretty cool to get back out when I was 16. Yeah, basically started racing the stock car. I think I did about 5 years in that. So, yeah, it's good fun.
Okay. Yeah, it is good fun. It's just another class that grows out of the mini stock class. And it seems to be the case that most, when they head into a stock car, if they've got the big deep pockets, they may go straight up to something bigger, which is a super stock, or up to whatever the class they want to go into, But yeah, it seems to be quite a growth into stock cars from kids out of mini stocks, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is, I guess, stock cars and super stocks are the majority of what sort of speedway is based upon, and it was obviously something that I'd grown up watching, so I was always keen on a stock car. We probably didn't really have the budget, and we did have one engine that we'd sort of built and went really well, but then it sort of went bang sort of straight away, so that sort of set us right back. I did have a little dabble in a bit of teams racing for the Team Roar Terminators. We did a trip up to Hawke's Bay, and that was really awesome fun. And I did sort of say to Dad, look, if we continued in the stock car, then teams racing was sort of what I enjoyed. It was really cool. We never really had the car for winning individual championships, but but yeah, we had a lot of fun in the years that we were in the stock car. Again, did a fair bit of traveling, did the under 23s, and there was a big trip down south one year. I think the New Zealands were down in Blenheim, and then I think South Islands were in Nelson, and then there was a championship on in Woodford Glen as well. So sort of 2 weekends in a row we did. We racked up a few Ks and had a bit of a ball, and the whole family went. So it was neat.
Awesome. It's all about family. We'll talk more about the family, the involvement there, your crew and everyone, and we'll thank the sponsors that are currently associated with you now. But it's a familiar story, Booker, when we talk to these drivers, how a lot of them love to do teams, If they had the opportunity, they could do teams week in and week out, I don't know what it is.
I was quite shocked at that, actually, because I didn't realise that Jonas had raced a stock car first. You see, a lot of these, a lot of the time we hear you come out of mini stocks and you go into the class and you sort of stay there for a long time, and I thought that you'd come out of mini stocks and gone modifieds. I didn't realise you'd gone stock car racing as well, but I suppose that was, when we see the story you tell us, I suppose it was inevitable that had to happen with Dad and a stock car as well, I suppose. So what made the switch to modifieds, mate?
My partner at the time, now wife, she definitely wasn't keen on the stock car. She loved modifieds. Yeah, she'd grown up around modifieds. Her uncle raced modified back in the day as well, and she thought stock cars were too slow and they weren't glamorous enough. So we sort of had looked at we'd seen a modified, and through Brian McPhee. He helped us out a lot and got us found us a car basically, and up the line that we'd sort of had our eye on, and we had both cars at one stage, and then once we sort of built up the stock, the modified and got that running, we decided we didn't have the budget for one, let alone two, so the stock car went, and we just stuck to the mod. So
mate. That's wifey. That's wifey talking.
Yeah, pretty much. What
did you want to do? Yeah, what did you want to do out of the stock car? Honestly, what did you want to do? Did you want to go to super stocks or A grades back in the day?
Not overly. I was enjoying the stock car a little, but it was getting. It was a little boring because I wasn't really doing a lot of teams racing. I just had my first real run this season. We sort of finished up, and Blake McPhee had just modified for the season prior, and we did a trip. I think we did a trip to Bennett, going watching him working on that car, and it seemed really cool, and he definitely could.
We're getting a little bit of dropping in and out there, Jonas.
Brian to give us a hand as well.
We're getting a little bit of dropping in and out there, mate. Make sure no one else is on the interweb there.
We're getting a bit of freezies off and on here.
Now. Something's happened. Something's and the internet's gone funny.
Just be with us, everyone. They can listen to myself and Booker. Jonas is down the line. He's connected through his Wi-Fi. So let's hope we get him bouncing back in. Corey, his cousin's watching from Australia. Miss you, cuz. 17W for life. So we're just waiting for Jonas to kind of sneak back in and pop back in. I see there are about 15 Wellington mini stocks heading to Oxford for the champs down there. Thanks, Dave, for that. Craig Chatfield, congrats, Chatty, to you and the All-Stars on what you've done and what you achieved, mate. With the old girl out there, the old 741A, doing what it needs to do. Carl Carpendale, mate, looking sharp with everything that's new coming out with the 77G TQ midget. So good luck for your next season, mate. Looking forward to seeing what rolls out there when it comes to your amazing merch that you develop and put out there as well. Luke Brown, talking to modifieds, he's jumped in. So we'll just keep yabbling away here while we can kind of get Jonas
come back,
to reconnect.
Can you hear us here, Jonas?
Doing the old freezies.
Something's happened there with the interweb there.
Right, Jonas? We'll just carry on, but we'll talk about Jonas going from his mini stock years, third generation in the England family that's raced. Dad back in the granddad back in the 60s, dad in the 70s, and Jonas started in the stock car, mini stock to stock car. So you're back with us, mate? Nah, looks like it's kind of frozen up on us there, Box.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what's
we'll see what
happened here.
happens.
Let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
I'll just say, if you can hear us, Jonas, try exiting out and coming back in again. And we'll wait for you if you can hear me. Something's locked up at your end.
Yeah. Yeah. The internet, one of those things. Might be that bad weather that's coming down towards that way. We had it up here with us yesterday. There he is. He's back. Jonas.
All right.
He's trying to kind of connect and get some internet
There
going
you
out
go,
there.
he'll
He's
go out,
dropped
come
out,
back
so
in.
there we
So
go.
stay with us, people. I'm sure he'll be back in a sec. So while he's just doing his stuff, has happened sometimes of the internet. I'm sure he'll be back in a sec. I'll just repeat what I was saying about we're doing the our E-Series coming up with our super stocks. So if you are send us a PM message to our page. Don't put it in the comments here because I won't. I need to talk to you in behind the scenes, not in front of everyone. There's only a few spots, so we need to see who's coming and who's going. So if you want to join in, if you've got a sim rig and you want to come do our Super Stock E series, then come join us and have some fun. Oh, it looks like he's coming back. Is it Jonas? Let's see. There he is. There. Let's see what happens. I'll bring him in.
Hello.
We can hear you. Can you hear us, mate?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's good. Well, it's
We
just
can hear
frozen a
you.
bit, but as long as we can hear and
There he
I can
is.
hear you. That's
It's a good
Sounds
start. It's just like you're frozen on your camera. If you
Yeah.
can hear us, you're frozen. Hey, Warren. Hey, mate. Karen, hey. Hi, Jonas. While you're frozen, bro. Lol. Paul Thurston's on watching. Jonas, you all right, mate?
I'm fine. I'm
yeah.
fine.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Internet
Looks
might
like
be
it's
on,
kicked
alright.
in. Oh, no, it's
All
kicking
right,
in and
so-
out. So we'll just keep going and see how we go, mate. So where were we? We were talking.
So, our modifieds and stock cars in there, but just quickly, Jonas, while I've got you.
Transition
Yeah. Corey England. The Cuzzy watching all over in Australia, mate. They miss you. He misses you. And 17W
Hey, Cuz,
for
how you
life.
doing?
So, yeah, there's the Cuz on there. Dave Thomas just said earlier, 15 Wellington mini stocks heading to Oxford for champs down there back in the days. Luke Brown, 3NZ is watching at the moment. Also, Karen Haig. Hi, Jonas. While you frozen, bro, having a bit of a laugh at you as well.
Karen.
Yeah. Oh, we'll persevere with what we've got. I mean, that's all we can do with the internet can be a pain sometimes. So if I bring a car up here, is this one of your first? Was that one of your first, Jonas, that you got? That one there?
Yeah, that was my first modified. Yep, that was may have even been my first night out actually, to be fair. Yeah, about 10 or 11 years ago, I think, 2012.
Huh?
I think we got out in that. A few seasons ago now. Yep, for sure.
So that's where it all started for you in the modified class, eh? Something, that little baby there. So that's not the same car you've got now, obviously, is it?
Nah, so that one was an ex-Alan Haig 2NZ Harris chassis. And one we've got now is one of the ex-Ward J&J chassis.
Okay.
After a bit of a rollover down in Christchurch back in 2015, we decided that there was more to repair than what we really wanted to do, and we were trying to sort of push forward with a newer car at the same time. So yeah, it was a good time to upgrade and do something different.
Where's the car, the old car you had way back in 2012? Is there still racing around the tracks? Do you know where it's gone to now?
No, I did see someone selling it just recently again, but I'm not sure whereabouts it's based. I know it went up north somewhere, but it hasn't been. I don't think it's been on the track since. No.
Okay.
So
Wayne Otton.
Talking with your your main pit crew man, was it there with you on Saturday night the other week at Wellington?
Yeah.
He
Graham,
tells me
yeah.
that you had to sort of make a phone call to someone and ask for some help to teach you a bit about the setting up the modified. What's the story behind that, mate?
Yeah, so that it actually, yeah, funny that we'd obviously brought the ex Alan Haig car, and Graham sort of said to me one day, he goes, you know, why not just give Alan a call or try and reach out to him and get in touch with him personally and just see if there's anything that he knew about the car that he could help you out with or whatnot. So we reached out to him and gave him a bell, and he came along to the next meeting we were going to, which happened to be in Huntly. They lived in Auckland at the time, Alan and Karen. So they came down and had been giving us advice over the phone and whatnot, and we changed a few bits on the car, and we'd found a bit of new pace, and the car was going well. So that started basically a friendship. I think that was 2014, started 2015. So they've been really helpful since, and basically every time we went to Auckland, we sort of stayed with them over the last few years, and since moved to Christchurch, and actually just dropped off the chassis to him, to Alan down in Christchurch the other week, so he can start doing some of the repairs from our rollover in Rotorua. So shout out to A&K Haig Engineering.
Awesome. The number 17W, Wayne Otton. How did you choose that number?
That one was pretty easy. That was Granddad's number. So Dad had about 35 different numbers on his cars over the years, because back in the day, you sort of, you just brought a car and you ran the number that was on the car. So yeah, I didn't want to choose through all of the different ones he'd had, and decided to go with Granddad's number of 17.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So from the earlier modified, the Haig one. Oh, Karen, sorry.
Which I think was actually the day my nana was born. She was born on the 17th, so that's why he chose 17.
Oh, that's pretty
awesome. Cool. It is pretty cool. Hey, so you had the Haig modified, and they helped you a little bit there. Was there another modified after that, or how did it develop before we got into what we see behind you?
Basically, went from that chassis, the Haig Harris car that we were running, and then got the J&J, and then the first year we got out in that was the first we made our first sort of New Zealand or national title podium, and we won the North Island champs down in Stratford. So it was completely different car and directs from what I was used to, and it was all positive and moving forward, and had the help from Alan, who also, when he finished up 2NZ in the Harris car, he transitioned to a J&J as well, and actually got to 1NZ the next year. So he also knew those frames quite well too. So it was good to be able to bounce some ideas off him and get some good advice from him,
Awesome. Hey, we talked about, obviously, Stratford. You made that comment there, how well you've done down there. And coming up in March 24, 8th and 9th, is going to be the New Zealand Modified Chance, mate. Must be one of your good tracks that you seem to have some good luck on, eh?
Yeah, we definitely have a good run there. We do enjoy going there. It's definitely a fast-paced track, and we have had some success there. We got second in I think it was the King of the Mountain this year. So which was pretty neat. So looking forward to the New Zealand's there. Should be good. Hopefully they get a decent field, and it makes for some hard racing, and we can bump the two off and take Brad's number off him.
That's the aim, mate. Hey, let's talk about that, obviously, because we go back to Huntly not that long ago, actually, where they had the modified champs here as well. Would have a rough night for you on the first night, but mate, to get there to where you are with that 2NZ, talk us through that. Your thoughts on that whole championship, mate, because we've caught up with Brad and Luke We had a chat with Luke, yeah, but we didn't catch you. You're busy on the holiday side of things. So talk us a bit through that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough one for them weather-wise. The Friday getting rained off after one heat run, which was a bit of a shame. There was a bit of talk about what to do with the format, and in the end, we all agreed to run the 5 heat format, which made for a pretty long night. But Huntley did pretty amazing and got the job done. So yeah, we had what looked like a pretty tough group. And then unfortunately there was just a couple of cars that pulled out before the meeting with damage. One was Alan, and then I think Ian White was in our group as well. So both of them had rocket issues, which, I guess stars aligning to a certain degree. It sort of made it a smidge easier to get points. It meant every time we were on the track, there was 2 less cars. But the track was very challenging. Certainly caught us off guard in the first one, judging from the night prior when the track was sort of looking pretty heavy that first heat. So we thought it might have stayed similar, although they had sealed it off a little bit. But we were the first heat out on the front row with Jacob. He had a spin, and then I just basically after about 3 laps just had nothing. The car was like on an ice rink, really. So just a matter of holding on, and we ended up going backwards a little bit. Jacob got back by us, but I think he forgot to go over the scale, so he got relegated and bumped me back into second behind Brad. So I think the rest of our heats went relatively well. It was just about conserving tyres and making sure that the car was sort of kept in the straight line and whatnot. And then I think it was going into our 4th heat. The track sort of came back. The sun had gone, and there'd been a fair bit more moisture on the track, and we had a really good run and got away and took the flag in heat 4. So it sort of upped the morale a little bit. We felt like the track was a lot more racy at that stage. So it was a good fun night leading up to the actual final race, which was a great fun race. Fun race.
Yeah.
I can tell it was a fun race because, mate, you finally got on the podium. And I tell you what, the fans that have supported and watched you, not only your family as well, but your crew, even fellow drivers that we spoke with, your fellow guys you're racing to get either 3, 2, or 1 on the podium. Mate, they were just over the moon you got on the podium. The support behind you is just unbelievable, actually, which is cool, which gives a good vibe to a championship. To see you get that 2 NZ, right, the drivers are just like celebrating, the fans are celebrating. You got a good following, mate. You got a real good following, eh?
Yeah, we've always had a relatively good car and a good package, and we can foot it with everyone on every other night. It just always seems to be at a national title. Something doesn't quite go our way, or just prior to it, we have engine drama or something. The last 2 national titles in Christchurch we haven't made it to because we haven't had a motor in the car. I think Auckland we had a steering box let go in the feature and sort of sailed off into the wall, and just 2 flat tyres at the New Zealand champs in Wellington last time, and in the final race when we were sitting in a pretty good spot. So just always seemed to be something popping up, and we're always there or thereabouts. But it's definitely cool to finally get something. And I mean, I was over the moon coming off the track knowing that I'd just got 3 NZ, so I was pretty ecstatic about that. And for it to be a Garage 16 1, 2, 3 with Brad and Luke, that seemed pretty unreal. So I was stoked at that point after the race we'd just had, for sure.
Yeah, I think the biggest smiling faces walking around since you see Garage 16 was Aaron Invance. You couldn't take that smile away from Aaron Lewis, just making the racing for New Zealand Modified Champs that was his goal, just to be out there on the tracks with some great drivers. He hasn't stopped talking about it, mate. And Booker was down there, I think, a couple of weekends ago with the Aaron, and that's one of his biggest achievements in Speedway. You know, I know he's given a lot over the years, Garage 16, and driven so much to grow the modified class. It's a passion, it's a love of his that class. But I tell you what, the smile on his face in Hartley, that guy was walking around, he was
When
like
he was out on
cloud
the track
nine.
with us.
Yeah,
no,
he
it's cool.
was.
It was
Yeah,
good
that's
to see
really
him out
cool.
there in a field like that, you know.
Yeah.
It was a shame he couldn't carry on and towards the end of the night, but yeah, it was certainly cool that he was able to be a part of it, you know.
Yeah, hard up.
So that was neat.
I think it's quite cool, his story too, of how he got into modified. So I mean, it was I think it was just the daughters that got him into modifieds, isn't it? You and the daughters. The daughters became. He was telling me the daughters became these friends at school, and they'd talk about each other. And he finally got to meet you, and you said, "Oh, yeah, I race a modified. Come down and have a look." And all rest is history for Garage 16, isn't it? And the modified class.
Pretty much. Yep. Yeah. Daughters were together at kindy. From sort of age of, it might have been just from the age of 2, and yeah, they just had a really good bond, you know. So yeah, they had started having play dates, and I think it was actually at might have been a birthday for one of the kids at the school, the kids gymnastic, in Upper Hutt here, and yeah, was chatting to Aaron, and he sort of asked, he'd heard about us racing and asked a bit about it, and yeah, told him to come along and have a look, and yeah, he was keen as to come along and have a look, coming from Gisborne and being around Speedway a little bit back in his younger years, you know. So yeah, he came along, and yeah, basically the rest is history. Yeah, it's just grown from there. He came on board as a sponsor, and then we had an idea about sort of pitching a bit of a series to help build the modified class in Wellington, and yeah, they sort of jumped on board with that and ran with that and created basically the series that we had. So yeah, without them, none of that would have happened, and certainly over the last few years, probably wouldn't have reached the amount of people that we've reached just around the modified class without them. So it's really been good having Vince and Aaron, you know, pushing it as much as they have.
All right. Just back to some of the comments. Daniel Petrie asked earlier, favorite track and bogey track, Jonas?
My wife seems to think that Christchurch is my bogey track because that's where I had a massive rollover. But I actually really enjoy Christchurch. It's a unique track, and it's a real technical track. Don't really have a bogey track. Yeah, there's not really one track that I don't enjoy. It was Auckland for a while, but we've had a few good runs up there over the last few years. We got third in the GP a couple of years back, and then certainly this year, the Dirt Cup, we had a good run up there and we got second. So I wouldn't say it's probably it's certainly not a bogey track anymore. But yeah, any track we can get to race on that's not affected by the rain is an awesome track to run on.
Well, that leads to the next question someone's put here. Do you like running in the Dirt Cup at Waikaraka Park? Do you enjoy the Dirt Cup?
Yep. I do enjoy the Dirt Cup. It's normally a pretty big meeting, and yeah, the format's just different to what we normally get. So it's normally one of the go-to events, you know, next in line from the New Zealand's. So when we can, we always try and get there. I think we went there one year, and we arrived on the Friday, and about 15 minutes after we arrived, we got told it was cancelled for the weekend because of the rain that was coming in. So that was a wasted trip, but then we couldn't end up attending when they did run it, you know, a month or so later. So we get there when we can. It's a good event.
You kind of look at it now when you see it there, you know, it's the next big thing compared to the New Zealand's, obviously in the modified class. I was just thinking about when you see it, I'm thinking it's most probably the equivalent of the 240s as such, and the superstock class when they have the NZs, and that similarity. So if you had the opportunity to race a different class, from Daniel Chalk asking this question, what would you race, mate, if it was a different class?
Oh, it's a hard one. I I would really like to have a skid in a midget. I mean, I'd love to have a go in a sprint car. I did have a go on one of Brian McPhee's sprint cars one night. But I think certainly if I was looking to something for the future, it would probably be a midget. They are sort of taking off down this way in sort of Palmy and Wanganui, Stratford. But yeah, that would be the kind of class that I think would be really cool to have a skid in to see what they're like, you know?
Yeah.
I got a
Well,
oh, sorry, kids. I just also because the trouble I see some of these questions. You see, and I was having a great chat to your crew chief, man. You see, on the Saturday night there, Jonas. So I see questions here that relate. I know a good story's going to come up with if I ask the story. You see the question. So I got one here. It says, "Wayne Norton, what colour is that on the car? Temura teal, because I know the green's a big thing. And who came up with the amazing design? So the story behind the design and colour, mate."
So. Nah, not really. The green is actually basically you'll see the branding of Havana's
Havana,
5-star. That is the branding on the Havana 5-star packet of coffee. And their HQ in Wellington is basically the same green. I have heard one commentator refer to it as a snifter. So yeah. But it's good to be different and have a car that's sort of, pretty unique color-wise. So, yeah, certainly stands out from all the black and blues that are out there.
And where did the design come from? Who made the design of the car? Like, is it?
As in the graphics?
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, the graphic and look and...
That is, the graphics are basically exactly what's on the Havana coffee bag. It's the banner. But... our sponsor, Graphic Print and Sign, they're the ones that sort of laid it all out and got it all in proportion and whatnot, and it's all just a vinyl print, so it's nice and easy to apply.
Awesome.
It looks impressive. Always your cars look impressive, and they really look impressive. That's just looking at the picture there and looking at it on your Facebook page as well. So how the hell did the connection come with a coffee company? Because it's a rarity that you see a company associated with, say, Modified Class as an example. I'm not too sure there's many others, but how did that relationship all come about?
So that relationship actually stemmed from, basically one of our crew, Graham, or Blakey, as most will know. He was working in a factory down in Seaview, and the guy that happened to own the factory that they were working on was Jeff Marsland, owner of the Havana Coffee at the time. He had another second sort of roasting machine or whatnot in the vicinity, and I think it was probably a year or two that Graham has sort of been prodding him about getting a proposal to him and him having a look over it, and then one day he finally caved in and said, "Oh, give us a proposal. We'll have a look." It was the year we built the new J&J back for the 2016-2017 season. So, he liked the look of it and the fact that we had a relatively blank canvas to work with. And, we showed him some designs, and he's certainly a very colourful person. And we showed him a design that was very colourful, and it was blue at the time. And he jumped at it, and Havana's since been taken over by Lion Breweries, and Jeff's still a part of the team there to a certain degree, and they've continued on board with us, and now we've gone green. So still waiting to see what happens next year. There might be a change coming up, so just watch this space.
Wicked, mate.
I'd say you certainly put Havana. I mean, like, I hadn't really even heard of Havana Coffee or anything like that until I started watching the Modified Class, and you popped up with that, and it's certainly branded out there, and everybody knows it as that car and you, don't they? I mean, the branding with Havana and yourself is so synonymous now. It's incredible.
Yeah, the messages I get from people saying, "Oh, we're in the supermarket the other day, and someone said, 'Oh, there's Jonas's car, or there's Joe's car, or there's the Havana coffee car,' and it was just a bag of coffee,
Yeah.
So, but that's what it's all about. It's all about branding, right? And as much as we can get that brand out and get them that recognition, we're doing our job, So
Yeah, mate.
it's
Hard
good.
out. Mate, Luke Brown's watching. Hi, Joe, from Luke Brown, long-time fan. Will you be bringing back the Dirty Sanchez mode for Movember next season?
As long as there's a meeting we can both attend, we'll give it a crack, mate.
Okay. Caramel latte, 1 sugar, please. Look, everyone's talking coffee talk now. Am's talking to Daniel. Put the kettle on, mate. Jonas is going to get some coffee for us. 2 sugars, please. It's already
we can always
started.
have a cold brew, mate. We can always have a cold brew.
Yeah. Mate, we talked about your major sponsor, the Havana, but like you said and Book said, talking about the crew as such, the commitment from the crew and the family, you can't do it without them, mate.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, certainly. I'm pretty fastidious, I would say, on working on the car and making sure everything's right. Sometimes I'm probably a little OCD with some of the things that we do on it. But yeah, certainly over the last few years, Graham and Duncan have been a huge help working on the car during the weeknights and whatnot. And certainly it's made it easier. There's been a fair few cold nights, and we still haven't installed the fire in the garage that we were talking about for the last 2 years, but we'll get there one day. But without them and the other crew we've got, Ray, he travels everywhere we go, and can't do it without all of our crew. So certainly without the mum and dad's support, if they're not coming away with us to trips, they're looking after the dog or looking after the kids or something. So it's certainly without them, and then obviously my wife and the kids, their support is huge. This year we certainly had a really good year. We set our focus on achieving some goals, and the wife was not too hesitant on me going out the garage, and was really encouraging me to do as much as we could to work on the car to get it right. And all of that really paid off this year. We had such a good year, and without her support and the support of the kids allowing me to spend the time in prepping the car like we have, we just wouldn't be where we are. So
yeah, hard out,
it's
mate.
certainly a huge team effort. For sure.
Hey, the car's always well presented. We're talking about that, the graphic design and everything, but also presented is yourself and the team. I see kids have the nice looking shirts. You got your crew shirts there as well. You're the whole deal, and you look just as immaculate as the car does. So, everything is in place. It's a true professional look, eh? And mate, it's bloody brilliant, and it's just what the class needs. Eh? It's outstanding.
Yeah. I mean, I've certainly always tried pushing the bar and raising the bar, I guess, and it's good to see a few of the other teams are certainly getting on board, and getting the crew shirts to a higher standard, and making everyone look good and compared to the car. It's all good to have a good looking car, but then you just got a sort of just a plain old t-shirt with nothing on it that's nothing to do with the race car. It sort of doesn't create a team look,
Yeah.
So it's all about creating that team look and advertising your sponsors where you can, and really getting their name out there, and making everyone feel a part of the team is what awesome. Helps the team gel and come together.
Yeah, exactly, mate. 100%. It's all about being professional, and that's where you want to take your class and what you do as a race car driver, along with your crew and family and all your supporters. Merch. Let's talk merch. Can you got any merch? How does that all work, mate? I know you got posters and everything and stickers. What about merch?
They're not yet. That sort of fizzled out after we didn't bother doing any more racing this season. But certainly for next season, we'll be definitely doing some merch towards the start of next season. Just finalising designs and stuff for the car before we get carried away with setting all the merch up. But there will definitely be merch for people to grab for sure.
You can put me down for a shirt, mate.
I'll
put my name down for one now. There you go.
All
Hey,
good. First day of the day.
I'm always into different stuff, but we got some people asking. So, how's the body feeling, mate? How's the recovery going after the big incident at Rotorua?
Yeah, no, body's feeling pretty good. It's almost 8 weeks now. On Saturday, so relatively healed and starting. Actually, had my first physio appointment today, so starting to do a few more exercises and yeah, got rid of the crutches, which is good, and been a bit more flexible and doing a few more chores around the house, which the wife's enjoying. So yeah, definitely I'm starting to feel back on my feet. I'm able to drive again now, which is good. So feeling a lot more independent now than I was 7 or 8 weeks ago.
Oh, that's good, mate. So, what else does Jonas do besides race cars, mate? Do you do anything else? You got any other hobbies, or apart from the racing, anything that sort of takes the mind off the race car, or is it just race car?
It's predominantly race car. There's a bit of family time chucked in there, but certainly of late, over the last sort of 8 months or so, 8 months to a year or so, I've brought a push bike and been doing a bit of mountain biking and just general riding around. And it was more so for just a bit of fitness. And I've actually, since I got back on a bike, I've really enjoyed it. And really enjoying going out for rides where I live in sort of Upper Hutt. We've got heaps of tracks and downhill tracks and whatnot, within a stone's throw to get to. So I can go in multiple different directions and go on a different track every day of the week. It's really good fun. So yeah, really enjoying that.
Oh, awesome.
You know what I like about that answer? That's the answer we get a lot from a lot of the drivers of interview. We ask, what do they do aside from racing? And a lot of them, 9 times out of 10, is I've got a bike and we go mountain bike riding. We love getting out there in the fresh air, pedaling away there. And, it's just your own space. And you just have a time to yourself, ride around and do your own thing. But yeah, it's quite a common answer that we get from a lot of people we interview. Wayne Alton, what's your view on getting the numbers back up in the class? What is the magic answer in your opinion?
For people to go out and buy them. That would be a good start. At Timaroa a few years ago, we sort of the class had died off again. We had a good spell there for a while where we had sort of 8-10 cars, and it died off a wee bit, and we were back down to 4 or 5 cars, and it was a bit of a struggle. And the biggest problem I found, and it sort of echoes across the country a wee bit, is I would love to race a modified. They look like such an awesome class, but there's just not enough of them, and they don't race often enough. And, in Wellington over 2 seasons, I'd heard that from about 8 different guys. And I thought to myself, if you 8 guys got one, we'd have a 12, 15 car field, and then that would straight away draw other people. So I think it's just sort of showing off that we can put on great events to allow people to give them that nudge to take the plunge and buy a car, So certainly the fields have picked back up at Timaroa again, which has been great. I don't know why it's not taken up more on. There's a lot of guys that go to the super stocks and whatnot, and younger guys as well, and even the stock cars and the I think they think that it's a big massive sprint car almost car, and that it'll be really expensive, but they're not actually that bad, they're relatively cheap to buy, I mean, most of them you could sell a relatively good stock car and get a really good modified, so certainly a super stock, some of them you could sell to one super stock and buy 2 modifieds. So money wise, I'm not sure if it's the money or the fact that the numbers do seem a little lower. So it puts some guys off, but it's one of those chicken egg sort of things, without the extra guys coming in, it makes it hard to promote. So yeah, if all those guys that said they were keen, got them, then we'd be in a great place for sure.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Roger Crook, can you push to get modified to Miani? Well, Booker's
I'll
here.
try,
Let's hope
mate,
we
I'll
get it
try.
there. Yeah, we'd love to have it there.
I'd love to have them at Miani. I'd tip you.
Yeah, it would be good. It will be good.
Oh, mate,
I think the way you do it is if you got SVG, use them as an example, Shane Van Gisbergen, and they got sprint cars at Miani this season because he was over racing. So I don't know however you want to do it to get them to be bloody good. I'll tell you what I'd like to see is the modifiers at the Palmy teams. Yeah, they do. I tell you what, someone bloody asked you back in the day to jump on a modified because I'm light freight and I should have some fun. Palmy bloody teens would be a good start.
Yeah.
It would be good to have you as a support class on back the night too back there.
We have done the Palmy teams before, and it is a bloody awesome event to be a part of. But yeah, so I think they just tried doing different things so they can find the right thing that complements the super stocks well and the teams well. Certainly when they were having the BK series there, I think they came in after us.
Yes.
For a couple of years, and they sort of certainly stole the show a wee bit. But a full field of modifieds on Palmerston North Track at the Teams Champs with a full capacity in the stand would certainly be amazing as well. So
yeah,
I know Bruce was thinking about it, but he was worried about the numbers, how the numbers had dropped away in the modifieds, and that's why he went away from them at the time. When we spoke to him that one of our teams build-ups, that's what Bruce said. But he certainly, I think, would definitely entertain the idea of getting them back again. I think the crowd would love it. I loved it at Team Champs when we had them there.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely just trying to secure a full field is the key to putting on an event like that. It's sometimes it's tough to get a full field, but it would be good. And I think it's been a while now. I think there's a fair amount of cars that would love to get back there and have a skid at that championship.
Oh, look, I think if Bruce put the word out, I think you'd get everyone entered on him. And I mean, and with the current 1, 2, 3, and Z, I think those three, you three would be a great. People would love it to have you three there as well, because it's a very popular podium. I think this year. Yeah. With the fan wise, So yeah. It's cool to have a young podium. It's always good to have the old guys in there, so they don't lose touch and feel like they're old and past it. That's certainly not cool to hear that every time they aren't there. But certainly they're the ones that we look up to, the older guys. And it was really neat this year to have 3 young guys from mini stocks, on the podium, and like I say, 3 Garage 16 cars as well was pretty neat all around.
Yeah. You know what though, Jonas? I guarantee you, if the modifiers are introduced back to the Palmy Superstock 10s, you'll get nearly every single modified driver down that way turn up. I guarantee you'd have a lot turn up because you'd have a lot of Wellington, a lot of Stratford, a lot of them down there would come to it. I'd even go as far as saying, well, it depends on the bloody boats, but you'd get a through from the South Island, mate.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a few Christchurch Blenheim cars. I'd guarantee you'd get, I'll say now, 20. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I definitely don't think at the moment it would be hard. Yeah, a few years ago it was a struggle, but certainly the numbers have picked up again. Just more so, there's always been a lot of cars and a lot of guys that have had cars, but in the last year, there's certainly a lot more cars that have come out of sheds and been active, instead of inactive. So, yeah, I think it wouldn't be hard to get a full field of them there for sure. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, because that fella sitting next to me created something on the teens build-up was bring back the beach ball and all this stuff. Yeah, you remember that book saying that bloody turned up. They all turned up.
It was awesome.
So we might just start bringing back the modifiers. But the only thing, Jonas, is Havana Coffee is going to run out in their town because everyone want to drink bloody coffee. It's got to be Havana Coffee if you're there.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. That's the one. Get everyone on it for sure.
Wicked. Hey, it's just clicked over 8:30. Obviously, we do thank you for joining us and sharing your past of your driving. 3 generations back in the late 60s, 70s. you dabbled in mini stock cars back in the day, jumped into Modified, a Hague one back in the day, and to the current one you drive now. 8 weeks ago was a bit of a different story, but it's good to hear that you're back on the mend, mate. And I know you're proud, and the family, the crew, everyone that's watched the show with the podium drivers who got the 1, 2, 3 NZ, but you're stoked with your 2 NZ. You can't take the smile away from you, mate. And I tell you what, well deserved, eh?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, it was a bit of a dream season. I mean, a real dream season would be ones, but we got a few seconds. But just being consistent is good enough for us. Happy to be right at that level, and we'll continue to keep pushing forward and try and go for ones.
Hey, before we finish up, is there any sponsors and people you want to thank?
Yeah, I better go through a few. Certainly without Havana, I wouldn't be able to do any, almost any of this. Their support has truly been amazing. I think this year's leading into year 8, so season 8. So season 8, season 7. They've been with us for a while. So and it seems to get bigger and bigger every year, and they want to do more, and we want to do more. So that's really awesome. We've got SMS Industries. We've got Graphic Print Inside, who take care of all the design of the car and applying all the graphics. They do all our posters, our stickers, all of our sponsor boards and bits and pieces. They really look after us. We've got Garage 16, obviously. Coin and Bartercard. Coin is a digital currency. Started in Australia, and it's really taking off. So Coin and Bartercard, they've helped us out. We've got I'm just reading through a list here, so bear with me. We've got Value Motors, who have also supplied us again this year with a new tow car that we've brought. So without that, we wouldn't have got around the country. We've got Wellington Masonry, the Racing Depot, Powder Surfaces, who keep the chassis and the Nerf bars and axles and everything looking tidy paint-wise. We've got Repco that supply us all the the products and consumables. Fiberglass Specialist, he's always looking after us. Supplied us another body after we wrecked one a couple of years ago, and always has our fiberglass stuff looking good. Whenever we need repairs, they're onto it. We've got Tint Safe, Donald from Tint Safe. He's always helping us out with carburetor and the tuning side of the engine, which has been great. We've got Absolutely Donuts, Iron King Customs, C&M Transport, Wellington Top 10 Holiday Park. Sue came on board this year, and it was great to have them on board. Appreciate their support. We've got Mum, Diamante here. She's a hairdresser. We had Scorpion Racewear over in Australia there. We've got, obviously, Alan and Karen from Hague Engineering. Pure Rental, and HPE, Gavin from HPE down in Christchurch, who looks after our engine. Built us a great little package a few years ago, and it's gone really strong. It's been really reliable, and got us a lot of results that we've got in the last few years. So without them and that engine, we obviously wouldn't be where we are. So it's really neat to have all those guys on board, and couldn't do it without them, as well as all the crew, all the family that turns up to every meeting, across the country too, and that travel to come and watch us across the country. It's bloody awesome, and the fans, the fans are cool. We've got them
hard out.
Every pocket of the country, they're there.
Yeah, it's cool, mate. Tanya's just wrapped it up here, and I'll say this too. Havana run a limited edition coffee pack with Jonas's car on it. That would look real cool, actually.
That would look cool. Yeah. Wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens this year yet. Could be something different.
Okay. Hey, all the best with the recovery still at the moment, but we look forward to seeing you out on the racetrack. Well deserved with your 2NZ. There are a lot of happy fans out there, mate, and thanks for sharing your time with us on the show when we finally caught up after your little holiday with the family and Rodas.
Yeah, yeah.
But, mate, yeah,
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
no
cool.
We got
It's
a
been
little bit
awesome,
of stick
mate.
from people saying, "Why didn't you have Jonas on? You only had Brad and Luke on." And we said, oh, well, Jonas was having family time, so
Yeah, we were staying in. I work for the railway, so we were staying in a railway house which doesn't have any Wi-Fi or anything, so it wouldn't have been ideal. And it was also happened to be my son's birthday, so we were out for dinner that night and doing the family thing. So
Yeah, family first, mate. Family first. Good
Yep.
on you.
good
Cheers,
to have a
mate.
chat, Alan. Yep.
Yeah,
thanks,
thank you,
guys.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
thanks,
Cheers.
mate.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
See ya.
So if you want to keep in touch, go to Havana Coffee 2NZ Modified. That is the Facebook page. Give it a follow or a like. Everything that'll keep you update there as well. So everything around the Modified 17W, the sponsors and all those details. So jump on the old Facebook, Havana Coffee 2NZ Modified. That pretty much wraps up the show for tonight. Just thank you to everyone that's joined in on the comments, asking a few questions in here and there. And yeah, just be safe out there. There's been a bit of rubbish weather up and down the country that we're going through. It's going to get colder where I am. The temperature's dropping down to low single digits. So got a bit of a cold snap coming through. But yeah, take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. And I think winter's here. We never had a summer. I don't know what summer was. So just look after yourselves. Cheers, Madu. Awesome, mate.
Yeah. And don't forget, there'll be a post up soon about our E-Series starting in 4 weeks' time. And if you're a racer, a super stock driver with a sim rig and you want to join us, there's a few spots available. Please contact us via private message. And we will be having some guest appearances too, probably come in during that series. It'll race on my rig and maybe even race on KINSER's rig.
Yeah.
We don't know. But there's a lot happening in the next series coming up, so stay tuned. Be safe this week. Enjoy your weekend. And, next week, Kins. Next Wednesday night. Who we got on?
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Time. Yeah, on the
so we haven't
24th.
organised anyone for next Wednesday yet. So in 2 weeks' time, we've got a big guest coming. Stay tuned. How's that?
Yeah. Next week, we'll head out to Aussie. We'll catch up with Scotty Phipps defending the title, have a quick little chat with him, and we'll catch up with more guests. But like you said, on the 24th, a guy that's raced a street stock, super stock, sprint car, you can figure the rest out. And he's passionate about what he does for Speedway with tracks and the track he's associated with. Work it out, everyone. He's a local from my town too. I'll leave it at that before I give too much away.
See you all.
See ya. Welcome along, everyone. What was it like, that experience, jumping into your first race?
It's been my life ever since I can remember.
Look, it really was unbelievable.
I think it's awesome.
Just go out there and give it your every time. And
When you're young and you get in your old man super stock and you wreck it, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Craig Booker with the big smile. He is the voice that's behind what you get to hear every Sunday night.
Give it the hoot, Daddy. Look at that field. Doesn't it look fantastic?